There is something happening in your yard right now that you have almost certainly never seen. Not because it is hidden from you, not because it is rare, but because it happens in the hours when you are asleep. And the animal at the center of it is one of the most intelligent, most observant, and most quietly extraordinary creatures that has ever shared a backyard with a human being. Tonight, sometime between midnight and 4 in the morning, a raccoon is going to walk through your yard. It may already be doing so as you watch this. And what it does in those hours, what it sees, what it remembers, what it has decided about the people inside the house, is something most homeowners go their entire lives without understanding. Welcome back to Backyard Wildlife Mind. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe, because what you are about to see will change the way you think about every sound you hear outside at night. We are going to walk through what raccoons actually do in your yard during the hours you are sleeping. We are going to cover behaviors that biologists have only documented in the last few years, and we are going to end with something that I genuinely believe will stop you in your tracks the next time you step out onto your porch after dark. Stay with me from beginning to end, because behavior number 6 is something even most wildlife biologists do not talk about, and the final behavior, number 8, is the one that almost no one realizes until it is happening to them. Behavior number 1. The raccoon visiting your yard at night already knows the layout better than you do. People tend to assume that wild animals move through suburban yards in a kind of confused, exploratory way, sniffing for food and stumbling across opportunities.
With raccoons, this could not be further from the truth. The raccoon visiting your property at night is operating from a detailed mental map of your yard that it has built up over weeks and months of repeat visits. It knows where the loose board on the fence is. It knows which trash can lid is heaviest, which is light, and which one was recently replaced with a different design. It knows where the dog water bowl gets refilled, which window has motion lights and which does not, and which side of the deck is most sheltered from rain. Studies on raccoon spatial cognition, particularly work coming out of the University of Wyoming and supported by long-term urban wildlife monitoring projects, have shown that raccoons in residential areas maintain mental maps of their territories that include hundreds of individual landmarks, and that they update those maps faster than almost any other wild mammal in North America. If you put up a new bird feeder this week, the raccoon in your yard already knows about it. If you moved your trash bins to a new location, it has already accounted for that. The animal in your yard tonight is not exploring. It is working through a route it has refined over many, many nights, and that route includes you. Behavior number 2, it pauses, often for a very long time, in front of your windows. This is the one that disturbs people the most when they finally see it on a security camera, and I want to walk through it carefully, because once you understand it, the disturbance turns into something different. Raccoons regularly stop in front of windows during their nightly visits and look in, not for a moment, sometimes for 10, 15, even 20 seconds at a time.
They sit up on their hind legs, place their front paws against the side of the house or directly on the glass, and they watch. Most homeowners who first see this on camera describe it as unsettling, even frightening. The animal looks deliberate. It looks like it is studying the inside of the house, and the truth is that it is. Raccoons are among the small handful of mammals that have been demonstrated in controlled cognitive testing to engage in something resembling investigative observation of human behavior. They are not looking for food in Nosmovitz. They are looking at you, at what is happening inside the lit room, at the television, at the people moving around, at the cat sleeping on the couch. They are processing information, building familiarity, and quietly extending the same mental model to the people inside the house that they apply to every other meaningful feature of their territory. The raccoon at your window is not menacing, it is curious, and the depth of that curiosity is something most people are simply not prepared for. Behavior number 3, it tests things, repeatedly, methodically, without fear. There is a reason raccoons are one of the most studied animals in the world when it comes to problem solving, and that reason is on display in your yard every night. A raccoon that encounters something new in your yard, a closed container, a new feeder mechanism, a tied-down trash lid, will do something that almost no other wild animal does. It will stay. It will sit down with the object. It will manipulate it with its forepaws, which are extraordinarily dexterous, and it will work the problem in a way that closely resembles the way a primate works a problem.
Researchers studying captive raccoons have demonstrated that they can solve multi-step locking mechanisms, that they remember solutions for years afterward, and that they pass certain solving strategies to their offspring through observational learning. In your yard, this means that the raccoon that visits tonight is not just trying once and giving up. It may spend 20 or 30 minutes on a single object, returning to it adjusting its approach, trying it from a new angle. If you have ever wondered how a raccoon got into something you genuinely thought was secured, this is your answer. They are not getting lucky. They are working, patiently, quietly, in the middle of your yard while you are upstairs sleeping. Behavior number 4, it washes things in your water sources. This is one of the strangest and most well-documented raccoon behaviors, and it almost certainly happens in your yard at night without you ever knowing. Raccoons frequently take food, objects, or even non-edible items they have picked up during their rounds, and they bring those items to a water source to manipulate them in the water. A puddle, a pet bowl, a bird bath, a drainage channel. The raccoon will sit by the water, dip the object, rotate it, rub it, and turn it over with its forepaws. The traditional explanation for this behavior was that raccoons were washing their food, hence the species' Latin name, Procyon lotor, which literally translates to washing dog. But more recent research has shown that the behavior is actually about something else entirely. The forepaws of a raccoon become significantly more sensitive when they are wet. By submerging an object in water, the raccoon is essentially turning its hands into high-resolution scanners. It is using touch the way a human uses sight.
So the next morning, if you find your bird bath unusually murky, your pet bowl displaced, or odd debris in a puddle by your back door, you have not been vandalized. You have been visited by an animal conducting a careful, almost forensic examination of objects from your yard, using your water in the dark. Behavior number 5. It memorizes the smell of every person in your house. Raccoons have an excellent sense of smell, but what makes them remarkable is not the sensitivity of their nose, it is the way they catalog and remember scents over time. The raccoon visiting your yard tonight is, with each visit, building a kind of olfactory database of your household. The scent of you, the scent of the people who live with you, the scent of your pets, the scent of their visitors. Each scent is logged, associated with a context, and remembered. This is part of why raccoons rarely respond to human voices the way they respond to human movement or to specific scents. They are not reacting to a person they do not know. They are reacting to a person they do know, by a sense most humans never even think about. When you let your dog out at night and the raccoon disappears before you see it, that is not coincidence. The raccoon already smelled the dog from the porch. It already knew you were about to open the door. By the time you stepped outside, it had been gone for over a minute. There is, in other words, a quiet and continuous awareness of your household happening every single night, conducted through a sense you cannot perceive, by an animal you almost never see. Behavior number 6. It teaches its young by bringing them through your yard. This is one that biologists have only recently begun documenting in detail, and it is one of the most extraordinary things happening in suburban America right now. Raccoons are exceptionally devoted mothers. A female raccoon raises her young for over a year in many cases, and during that time, she teaches them everything they need to know to survive: where to find food, where to find water, which routes are safe, which yards are dangerous, which houses have dogs, which trash days yield the best returns. And the way she teaches them this is by bringing them along. If your yard has been part of a raccoon's regular territory for several years, there is a strong chance that the raccoon visiting tonight is either teaching her young your property, was once taught your property by her mother, or is in turn the offspring of an animal that taught her. What this means is something most homeowners never realize. The raccoon at your window tonight is not a single animal making a single decision. It is the latest representative of a knowledge tradition. Your yard is part of a learned cultural inheritance passed down across generations of raccoon families, conducted entirely in the dark, entirely outside of human awareness. The animal you have been seeing for years on the back porch may not be the same animal. It may be the daughter or the granddaughter of an animal that learned the layout of your house from its own mother. And every night, that knowledge is being passed forward. Behavior number 7. It avoids you with a precision that almost feels supernatural. Most homeowners are familiar with the experience of stepping out into the yard at night, hearing a rustle, and seeing nothing, or finding a tipped trash can in the morning with no animal in sight. What is actually happening in those moments is something more refined than most people realize. Raccoons avoid humans with a level of precision that wildlife biologists describe as one of the most striking features of urban-adapted mammals. They learn the rhythms of your household, the time the porch light comes on, the time the back door opens, the sound of footsteps on a hardwood floor versus a carpet. the faint click of a deadbolt being turned from the inside. By the time most homeowners think they are catching a raccoon in the act, the raccoon has known they were coming for 30 seconds or more and has already made its decision about whether to freeze, retreat, or relocate. This is not nervous flight. This is calibrated avoidance, conducted in real time against a target the raccoon understands very well. And that target is you. In long-term studies of urban raccoon populations, individual animals have been documented to maintain detailed behavioral profiles of specific human residents. They know who is loud. They know who is quiet. They know who comes out at night to smoke and who never opens the door after sundown. They know which houses have light sleepers and which have heavy sleepers. The avoidance you experience as randomness is anything but. It is a small, careful, ongoing assessment every single night of your habits. Behavior number 8. The raccoon you keep almost seeing has been part of your life for longer than you think. I have saved this one for last because it is the one that I think will stay with you, and I want you to take it seriously. We have talked about science tonight, about spatial cognition, about problem solving, about scent memory and observational learning and cultural inheritance. All of that is real. All of it is documented.
All of it is happening in your yard. But the experience that most people who have lived in the same house for a number of years eventually have with raccoons is not a scientific one. It is something quieter and stranger. You start, after long enough, to recognize one. Maybe it is a tear in the ear. Maybe it is a slight limp, or a kink in the tail, or a particular pattern in the mask on its face. You see it once on a camera, then a second time, then a year later, then 2 years later. You start to realize that the same animal has been moving through your yard for longer than you ever thought possible. Wild raccoons in suburban environments can live considerably longer than most people assume, sometimes 7, 8, even 10 years in territories that suit them. And during those years, an individual raccoon may visit a single yard well over 1,000 times. Think about what that means. The animal moving through your grass tonight may have walked the exact same line through your yard hundreds of times. It may have looked into your kitchen window the night your child was sick. It may have crossed your driveway the morning you came home from a hospital. It may have been at the edge of your fence the evening of a difficult phone call you have not forgotten. None of this with intention, none of this with awareness of the moment in your life, but there, all the same. A small, watchful animal living quietly alongside you, visiting your home year after year, in the hours you do not see. There is something in that, I think, that deserves attention. The wildlife in your yard is not background, it is not random, it is not neutral. It is a series of individual lives unfolding in parallel to yours, sharing the same small piece of ground, season after season.
And the raccoon you have been almost seeing all these years has, in its own quiet way, been part of your home longer than you ever knew. Before I go, I want to ask you something, and I genuinely want you to answer in the comments below. Have you ever seen something on a camera or out a window that you have not been able to fully explain? A raccoon doing something you did not expect, an animal you started to recognize, a moment you keep thinking about. Tell me about it. The stories this community shares are some of the most extraordinary I read. And if anything in this video changed the way you think about the sounds outside your window tonight, share it with someone who would understand. Sometimes the right perspective at the right moment changes what we notice for the rest of our lives. Thank you for being here at Backyard Wildlife Mind. I will see you in the next one.